Hi! I read Six of Crows. Here's a little story to you.
Wait, who is that?
Angel Fall, it's not what it looks like, really.
Are you breaking up with me?
Oh, Angel Fall, I adore you, but I have replaced you as my favorite book of all time with Six of Crows. Yeah. So, after loving the Grisha trilogy, I finally finished Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and I loved it. If you don't know, Six of Crows takes place in the Grishaverse, and it takes place in a country called Kerch, which has been inspired on Dutch culture in 18th century, which was a lot of fun, because I am Dutch, and there's a lot of small references to words and things that are Dutch. But apart from that, it was just a really good story. It's a heist, or it's a heist. Heist. It's a heist story that follows 6 characters that are all from the underground, from the streets. They are part of a gang, and they are going to free someone from a prison, or at least that's what they're attempting to do. As you might have guessed, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It's my new favorite thing ever because it was just that good. But apart from it just being a great story, I felt like it was extra fun for me because I am Dutch and I could kind of get all the little references that were in this story. So I thought it would be fun to do a video where I talk about all the references that are Dutch and explain them to non-Dutch people. So after I give you a little short review, I will go into all the words and their meanings and the names and all that jazz. I will start giving you a small spoiler-free review. So this book follows 6 characters, and that is definitely one of the strongest points of the entire book. I have never read so many interesting characters together, and they're all the main characters, which was so good. There are so many things. First of all, the setting of this book is just really awesome because it's, it's about street gangs and gang fights, about the underground scene with bribing and blackmailing. And then obviously we have an action-packed story because it's a heist story. You can't go wrong if you have a heist storyline. So that was a good thing about the plot. But apart from the main storyline, there is also the storyline about the characters. The characters kind of have their own plot line. A lot of people say that the middle part of this book is kind of slow. Yeah, you could say it is indeed. Nothing much happens in the middle part of this book, but you get to know all the characters. You get their backstories, you get flashbacks, you get to know the different dynamics between all the characters, their relationship with each other. It's so interesting. Usually when you're reading a book, you want to keep reading because you want to know what happens to the plot. In this book, you want to keep reading because you want to know what has happened to these characters. Why are these characters like this? And I loved all the characters. My favorite ones were definitely Kaz, Inej, and Jesper, but the other ones were great too. I only have one little nitpicky negative point, and that is one of the characters in these books. I'm not going to say who because you have to read it for yourself, but one of these characters has like a bad leg, so he limps, but it never really got in his way. Yes, he struggles walking and climbing stairs, but when it comes to fighting, it never actually got in his way. I don't know, it would have just been a lot more realistic if there had just been one scene where the fact that he had a bad leg would get him defeated or struck down or something like that, but he basically just got away with everything, even though he had a bad leg. But that's the only bad thing I have to say, and it does not refrain me from giving this book 5 stars and putting it on my favorite shelf. I don't want to say anything else about it. recommend it to like everyone in the world ever. And the only thing I still have to say is that I'm very sad that this is just a duology, because it could have been so much more. So now I will be discussing all the Kerch cultural things and words that were inspired by Dutch things, or at least I think so. I have a few disclaimers. First off, of course, this is just what I think. I don't know what is going on in Liber Dugo's head. I don't know what she intended with the things that she said in this book. This is just my interpretation and what I think that it meant. And second, it might have mild spoilers. I won't be spoiling anything about the plot, but if you really don't want to know anything about names or places, then it's better if you just leave, read the book quick, and then come back. So let's get started. So first off, of course, we have the capital city called Ketterdam, and I'm pretty sure you've already kind of guessed it, but dam, D-A-M, it's a very common suffix for city names. One you probably know is, of course, Amsterdam, but there are tons of cities in the Netherlands that end with dam. Through the entirety of the book, there is this one word that returns a lot, and that is the naming of the Stadwatch, which are the people that guard the city, kind of like the police. The word is very simple. Stad literally means city. So Stadwatch is just City Watch. If you were wondering what the hell does this mean, it just means City Watch. Nothing fancy. There was one thing that was mentioned at the beginning of the book that never really returns throughout the story that I was kind of disappointed by that, because I thought it was very interesting. They're talking about this really rich man called Hude, and he has 3 Grisha intenders, and this is what's said about them, I quote, "The Grisha weren't just servants, they were Hude's treasured possessions." So, a little bit of background information here. So, Kerch was based on, I think, somewhat like 1800s century the Netherlands. The Dutch people would collect all sorts of things: tulips, blue tiles, vases, art, animals, paintings, all kinds of things. And the more extensive and exotic your collection, the more status you would have, the more rich you would look. And regarding this remark that the Grisha were his most prized possessions, it kind of refers to that Grisha can also be part of this collection, that rich people would collect Grisha just to appear rich and gain a high status. I thought it was very interesting, and I was kind of disappointed that we didn't go into that any further, because I would have liked to hear a little bit more about that. Again, I don't know if Liber Dugo actually intended to say that with that sentence, but that's what I get from it, and the more you know. Let's explain some more words. There are 2 area names that reappear in the story a lot, and those are the Geldstraat and the Wijnstraat, which are streets in Ketterdam. So if you're wondering, Geldstraat literally means money street, and Wijnstraat literally means wine street. Again, totally unnecessary to know this, but the more you know. Another character we have in this book is called Tante Helene, and she is the head of a brothel. Again, if you're not Dutch, you probably don't know that Tante means aunt. It's kind of a way to address women that would adopt a lot of girls, for example, in a brothel. So Tante is not her name. Her name is Helene, and Tante just means aunt. So they call her Aunt Helene. Some other names that also have a meaning are, for example, we have Mr. Herzoon, we have the surname Rietveld. Herzoon also literally means deer, son, as in the animal, the deer, and Rietveld means rye field. So the surnames all have meanings, and now you know what they mean. Whoa, you're so smart now. Like, your life is better. We also have a character that's called Specht. If you're Dutch, that sounds like a very weird name, because it literally means woodpecker. Like the bird. You don't call your son Woodpecker. His name is just Woodpecker. Maybe it's not his real name. Could be. He's the captain of a ship. And the last thing that is mentioned in this book is a dish, actually, and that is hutspot. It's a very Dutch dish. I have never eaten it. It's kind of just a mishmash of potatoes, carrots, and onions. Here's a picture. It doesn't look very tasty. Maybe that's why I haven't eaten it yet. And those were all the things that I noticed being a Dutch person. There were also a lot of other Dutch words that simply don't mean anything, at least not in Dutch, that are actual made-up words. But I thought it was fun to share with you all the words that actually had a meaning, and now you are smarter than before. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you another time. Goodbye! So now I'm going to discuss this book. I finally read. I will start giving you a small spoiler I will start giving you